taxpayers are preparing to file their returns by collecting the necessary documents. However, it's important to remember the key highlights related to direct taxes in budget before filing your return. Would you like to recap on these highlights? Hello everyone, I'm Saloni from Team Webtel. In this video, let's review the key highlights of the budget and the changes to keep in mind before calculating your tax. So stay tuned, and before starting this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel Webtel Electrosoft to get regular compliance updates. Let's start with the important changes related to the tax slab.
Are you ready to file your ITR for the assessment year 2024 to 25? Then update yourself before the filing of the return. It's important to ensure that you have all the necessary information, and by updating yourself and ensuring that all the necessary information is in order, you can file your ITRs smoothly and you can avoid any errors. So let's get started. Let's discuss about the points related to the filing of ITR for the assessment year 2024 to 25. First point is related to income tax slab rate. The tax rates for both direct and indirect taxes will remain unchanged for the current assessment year, that is assessment year 2024 to 25. Then is new tax versus old tax regime. As the government has set the new tax regime as a default tax regime, or we can say that highly recommended tax regime. If a assessee is going to opt for the new tax regime, then they are eligible to claim a rebate under section 87A of rupees 25,000. And in case if they are going to opt for the old tax regime, then they are eligible for a rebate under section 87A up to 12,500. And this is the slab rate related to the new tax regime or related to the default tax regime. If a person is having the income up to 3 lakh, then they don't need to pay any taxes. In case if they are having the income more than 3 lakh or up to 6 lakh, then they need to pay 5% tax. If their income exceeds more than 6 lakh but up to 9 lakh, then they need to pay 10% tax. In case if they are having income more than 9 lakh but up to 12 lakh, then they need to pay 15% tax. And in case if they are having the income more than 12 lakh but up to 15 lakh, then they need to pay 20% tax. And in case if their income exceeds 15 lakh, then they need to pay 30% tax. So this is the criteria if a person is going to opt, or if the person is going to calculate their tax as per the default tax regime. And a higher tax exemption will be provided up to 7 lakhs. Then is a standard deduction. A standard deduction is provided to the salaried employees as well as to the pensioners. Salaried employees and pensioners can claim a standard deduction of rupees 50,000 under the new tax regime as well. Then is withdrawal of tax dispute provisions. As mentioned by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in her interim budget speech, IT department will withdraw small outstanding direct tax demands of rupees 25,000 or less, which pertain to the period up to financial year 2010, and of rupees 10,000 or less for the year 2010 and 11 to 2014 to 15. And the reason of the withdrawal was a person who has not received income tax refunds due to old pending tax disputes. So this is the withdrawal of the tax dispute provision by the income tax department. Then is leave encashment. A enhancement has been done in the leave encashment limit. The limit for the leave encashment for the private employees has been raised significantly from 3 lakhs to 25 lakh. Earlier, the limit was 3 lakh, but from the current year, the government has increased the leave encashment limit up to 25 lakh. And the person who is going to receive the leave encashment amount, if they are a central government or state government employees, then fully exempt will be their leave encashment, whereas if the leave encashment amount is received by any private employee, then partially exempt and partially taxable amount will be calculated. And this is the calculation of partially exempt and partially taxable. Here we need to consider leave encashment received. Then we need to list the exemptions that are covered under section 10AA. And from the below mentioned criteria, least of the following will be exempt, or least of the following will be considered as an exempt value. So here we need to consider the amount notified by the government, that is 25 lakh. Then we need to consider the actual leave encashment amount. Then we need to consider the average salary, and we need to multiply the average salary by 10 months. Then we need to consider salary per day multiplied by the unutilized leave for every year of the completed service. And after that we need to consider leave encashment received minus the exemption, that will be the least of the following. And at the end, a leave encashment taxable value will be calculated. Then there is a reduction in TDS rate on the EPF withdrawal. The TDS rate on EPF withdrawal has been reduced to 20% from 30%, except for the non-PAN taxpayers. And also there is a reduction in highest surcharge rate. That is, if a person is having the income more than 5 crores, then earlier they need to pay 37% surcharge, but for the assessment year 2024 to 25, they need to pay 25% surcharge. Then is opt-out provision for the new tax regime. If a person is going to opt out of the new tax regime before the due date for the filing of income tax returns for the respective assessment year, then they need to fill up a form, that is form 10IEA. Basically 10IEA is available to opt out from the new tax regime and also for the selection of old tax regime. Then is a capital gain exemption limit. The government has set an exemption limit under the sections 54 to 54F, and the limit has been set up to 10 crores. Earlier there was no such threshold limit for the exemption under the capital gain head. Then is a presumptive taxation limit has been revised for the financial year 2023 to 24, or we can say that the limit has been revised for the assessment year 24 to 25. If a person is having the income from business as per the section 44 AD, then the limit has been revised to 3 crores. Earlier the limit was 2 crores. And similarly for the professionals like doctors, engineers, lawyers, etc., as per the section 44 ADA, the limit has been increased to 75 lakh. Earlier limit was 50 lakhs, but the revised limit is applicable in case if the person falls under the condition. And the condition is that if a person is having 95% of the receipt through the online mode, then they are eligible for the revised limits. Otherwise, they are eligible for the previous limits. Then is related to the startups. The date of incorporation for income tax benefits has been extended up to 31st March 2024. And the time limit for the set off and carry forward of losses has been increased from 7 years to 10 years from the date of incorporation. So These are the changes that has been done for the assessment year 2024 to 25.
As taxpayers, we often face numerous changes, both minor and major, that impact our return calculation. In such situations, it becomes crucial to have access to accurate calculation and efficient tool to manage our returns effectively. Our income compliance solution is one such highly effective tool that enables taxpayers to prepare their returns accurately and within stipulated time. For better comprehension, check out the blog link in the video description box and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you found this video helpful, let us know in the comment section. Also, you can comment if you have any doubts. Give a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Next Tuesday, we will come up with another interesting video to make compliances better for you. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned with us for a better compliance journey.